Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Johnny Mologousis, who will fight on APFC 14, November 17th. Hello, Johnny. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the invitation, especially because it's a really interesting fight, you against Allen Holloway. So, if you can tell me, because we are a few weeks before the fight, how your
Yep.
camp is going for now?
It's been going really good. So we've been, bringing back a lot of the wrestling, focusing on boxing and wrestling and just working on, keeping the pace up, keeping the pressure up and getting ready for, a good opponent.
And actually, you looked great in your previous bouts in
Yeah.
APFC.
Thank you.
It was a really very good finishes. But also, he is a really interesting prospect, I believe. And do you think that he will be able to create some danger for you in this fight?
Yeah, of course. He's a taller guy, so he's a couple inches taller than me, so a little longer. So it's a different type of opponent than I've seen before, but I train with guys that are kind of his build and his style. So I think, obviously he's, 5-0, so he's a tough dude. So he definitely poses, challenges, but, so do I. So I'm excited for kind of go toe to toe and see how it comes out.
And after this fight, do you think that your next step in your career will be going pro?
Yeah, the next one, that's the plan. After this, we're gonna go pro. So we'll take the, November 17th, and we'll take the rest of the year, kind of just train for that pro debut, get used to throwing elbows and knees to the head, and then, early next year, probably go pro with APFC or another promotion like that.
And I think that for you, for the prospects, for the prospect for the fighter who is not right now a pro fighter, it's APFC. It's a very good place because it's like
Yep.
promotion shown on UFC Fight Pass. Of course, the Anthony Pettis its main face. They have like super great fighters like the flyweight champion Codilin or
Yep.
many others great fighters. So it's if you have to be on the regional scene somewhere, I think that it's a very good place to be.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's one of the faster growing promotions on the regional scene, especially in the Midwest. So they definitely get a lot of eyes on you, man. And they've had UFC matchmakers at previous events, and they got some really good guys that they sent to the UFC. So it's definitely it's definitely a top tier promotion. And, that's why I like fighting for them. They put on a real good show.
And of course, right now you are 4-0 as the amateur, but of course
Yeah,
you are known for your wrestling background.
yeah.
So if you can tell me, how did you get to the wrestling? Was it your dream as the when you were a child, or that something else happened and you decided to go and try this career?
Yeah, it was kind of something since I was a kid. Like I started wrestling when I was 5 years old. One of my dad's best friends had a wrestling team, and we wanted to go try it out. So and I ran with it from there. Just winning national tournaments and all of that growing up. And then my dad, boxed a little growing up, so he got me into that as I was a kid. So I think just the combination of both, and then a couple of my club wrestling coaches while I was a kid, and in high school, trained UFC fighters, and I grew up around fighters, so it was always something while I was wrestling that was in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this. So it just all kind of unfolded, and that's kind of where I met my head coach now, Alex Trujillo. He My dad was good friends with him growing up because my dad would train some of the fighters on their strength and conditioning for his gym. So I've known him since I was little too. So it was kind of one of those things that everything just kind of unfolded, perfectly. So
So it was a little bit like your destiny to be a MMA
yeah,
fighter in the end.
yeah, you could say it was like fate. Kind of all the cards fell where they did.
And of course, like watching your fights, so we can see that you are not only a wrestler because your hands are really good, and I think that this actually make you a really dangerous fighter. Because of course, if you would be only a wrestler on the high level, you still would be a super dangerous. But
Yeah,
with the additional hands, it will be a really tough challenge for your next opponents, definitely.
yeah, I agree. I think that, and those two things, I think boxing and wrestling alone, could get you pretty far in this. And like you said, it's better not to be one dimensional. Like you could get far with that wrestling, but if you didn't have hands, eventually you're going to run into a guy that knows how to stuff a takedown. So like I said, I trained boxing growing up, and then once I started fighting, I kind of fell in love with, working on my striking and stuff. So it's just, it's more so, definitely remembering to keep working on my grappling as well because I was getting so into the striking side of things. But yeah, I'm excited to showcase my wrestling again. So because this last fight we kind of wanted to focus. The game plan was, just keep it on the feet, because we knew he was going to shoot a lot. So let's keep it on the feet and touch him up, use my boxing, and then this fight we're going to mix it up again. So we're going to show everything we got.
And for this fight, how many weeks overall will you have to prepare?
So I've been training nonstop since my last fight. We took a few weeks just where we're kind of just working technical stuff, not really going, all out and killing ourselves just to let my body heal up. And then we did like a 6-7 week where we're gonna make it like a camp where we're doing, the 2-a-days and we're doing all that. So I think we're officially this Saturday. I think it's gonna be 5 weeks, or this Sunday will be 5 weeks till fight day. So we're these first 2 weeks we're kind of just getting that fight shape back, and then we're gonna keep going from here.
And if you can tell me more about your training partners, your coaches, and what gym are you training in?
Yeah, so my main gym's Midwest Training Center. So I got a lot of good, partners there. We got top, upcoming pros. We got top prospects. We got guys like Justin Lovrich, Katana, Sean Murphy, Adrian Cardenas, Tyler Veal. So we got a lot of really good guys. And then I box in the city at Franklin Street Boxing Club. So we got, some pros, pro boxers. We got high level amateurs. We got pros that come in with beast boxing that they're based out of MTC as well. And then jiu-jitsu and some other MMA stuff. We work with this I'm at Apex House of Grappling for jiu-jitsu and Brazilian Top Team. So usually I'll do that. The Apex House of Grappling, that's kind of on the same side. My dad owns a gym. It's called Functional Athlete for strength and conditioning. So it's a part of that. And then we work out with this brand. It's called Brick Squad. So or Bricks brand. So we have a bunch of really high level guys there. Like we got guys like Nick Fishback, Benevolent Shepherd. So high level prospects there. Super fun and interesting to watch as well. So
Yes, and you mentioned actually a few few prospects that I have on my list, like Tyler Veal and Justin Lovrick, the fighters that in my opinion are really talented, and probably
yeah,
it's also good for you to train. Of course, the veteran like UFC on the UFC level is one thing, but training with the prospects that you have the same goals, the same dreams in your mind, I think that you can grow as a team more.
exactly. And we got like MTC's got like a ton of high level talent like that. Even like last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever it was, like Katag Morov, he had a really good win. He's like one of those guys that I said like I train with a lot, and he's got that taller frame that'll be good to train with for this next fight. So he's got really high level wrestling and striking, so it's kind of really good. We got a ton of guys at that gym that are perfect training partners, and like you said, they're hungry and they're coming. They're always ready to work out. Right? I could text them late Friday night for an extra workout, and they'll be there for me. So it's good to have those kind of guys.
And also about your boxing, did you ever think about like trying to box as the professional, just 1 or 2 bouts, just to try the sport?
Yeah, I would love to. I think right now, just with how the momentum that we have with MMA, I think I'm gonna stay with that for a while. But if the opportunity ever presented itself later down the line, I would definitely love to just do just boxing. But um, um, that game plan would be nice. Like if I made a big name for myself and then was able to get some big money fights in boxing because I love boxing. Like you said, I love boxing. It'd be nice just to only have to think about working on your hands. You don't have to do all the other aspects. So definitely something that's on the horizon for me, I think, eventually.
But also, of course, with your wrestling, it's like MMA is a perfect sport because you can use yeah, like
Yeah,
few of your tools, and in boxing, it probably would be interested also just to challenge yourself. But in MMA, you can do it all.
right, exactly. Like you said, like my main thing was always wrestling, so it was tough to. It would be tough just to walk away from that because I'm not using my best things. So I think, like you said, I think MMA is obviously the better thing because I get to show everything. But yeah, boxing would be something I definitely want to try at least. Doing a couple of fights just solely boxing, see how that would go, just to test myself.
And when you are thinking about your career in the near future, like 2 or 3 years, uh, at what point do you see yourself in like 2027, let's say? Do you think that you can like be on the contender series? Maybe you will be in the UFC. How do you see that?
Yeah, 2027. I think it's probably a perfect timeline for that. If I could, if I go pro 2025, I give 3 years of, you know, putting together a good win streak. I think we could see ourselves on the Dana White Contender Series, or even hopefully just getting signed straight up, without having to do that or anything. So I see myself there, and wherever the next, whatever big promotions comes calling, and has enough money where I could just focus on fighting. That's the way to go. But I think 2027, 2028 is a perfect timeline for, ending up in the UFC or one of the big promotions.
And overall, do you like to watch like UFC fights or even the contender series fights?
Yeah, I watch at most UFC events. I should start watching more Contender Series because they have some really good fights. It's just, the Tuesday night thing. I'm usually training or something, so I just have to watch it on playback. But yeah, I watch most events. I'm excited for this next one that's coming up with Taporia and Holloway. So I'm uh I'm a student of the game for sure.
And in this featherweight title fight, who do you think will win?
It's a tough one. I like both of them a lot, but I have to go with Taporia. I'm a big fan of his style. I think his boxing's really clean. So he's got that Canelo style of boxing, which is somebody I look at and watch a lot and try to learn from. And I think he's just too clean and too powerful. So we'll see how it goes, but it's gonna be one of those fights where you're happy but you're sad for either guy because you like both of them so much.
And did you think that Tupuria will win against Volkanovski?
I thought so. I didn't think it was gonna be that early or that like clean. Like I thought maybe his boxing would kind of come out in the end, but like everybody likes to say they knew, but I put money on him, so I was hoping that was gonna happen. But I think it's hard to bet against Volk too because he's such a gangster, right? He's so good. He makes all these top guys look so easy. So um, I didn't know for sure, but I was hoping. I was going for Taporia. I was rooting for him. So
And do you have a fighter in the UFC that you would like to face? It can happen, or it can be a like dream fight scenario. One fighter that you would
yeah,
like to face.
I think a good one that could be somewhat realistic with my timeline would be somebody like Dan Hooker would be a fun fight. You know, somebody like that. I would say, yeah, it's probably him honestly, because all the other guys that I love to watch and are kind of like guys I learned from will probably be retired by then. So I'm a big fan of guys like Poirier and Gaethje, but they're kind of both saying they're on their last run, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Hooker would be a fun fight for sure.
And actually, it's quite interesting that Hooker make his like UFC debut, I believe that 10 years ago, and still he was able to win
Yeah,
against Mateusz Gamrot. Really tough stylistically, very, very tough
yeah,
fighter.
yeah, exactly. He's still, and I think he's looking better than ever 10 years down the line, right? So he had this resurgence. He's back in the top five. So that's how fighting goes, man. I think people just it's you get the highest to highs, lowest to lows, and he's coming back up. So he's definitely a fan favorite too.
And right now you're a lightweight fighter. And overall, how quickly can you make the lightweight limit?
I can make it pretty quick. I can make it on a couple weeks notice for sure. I always stay within striking distance of it, so it's not a hard cut at all right now. It's like, I could realistically do it in a week or two if I needed to. Only if the money was right though. I prefer I prefer to have the month and a half, 2 months. But yeah, it's definitely an easy cut.
Yes, but actually, I think that right now the like two best ways to get to the UFC it's a contender series or taking a short notice opportunity. So maybe if
Yeah.
you are able to make it quick, it's of course not right now, but it still
Yeah,
can be a very good card.
exactly. I think like that's why I like kind of staying close to 170. So it's just that 15 pounds that you could cut like that. So if I did get that opportunity, you got to take it, right? You don't get it twice usually. So I like to keep it close, and that's kind of a big part of the reason is being able to take those opportunities as they came. And especially early in my amateur career, it was kind of tough to get fights. So guys would pull out or fights would pop up within a month's notice. So it kind of did me I was more of a benefit to be able to make that weight faster in case something did pop up.
But it's probably a really also like a good point, interesting thing that not many people probably want to fight against you because you are undefeated. You have a really kind of crazy background, so it's probably sometimes it can happen that you have a fight schedule and in the end there is no fight.
Yeah. That especially like when I was 1 and 2 and 0, it was a little harder. It's a little bit harder just because when you're 1 and 2 and 0 or 0 and 0 trying to find your debut, it's tough to find somebody that's kind of has that same experience fight wise that's willing to fight somebody that just got done with the Division 1 wrestling career. So that was the toughest part. But once we got to that 3, 4, and 0, the guys were we were ready to fight guys with like my last guy, he had 7 fights, so it was is those guys were more willing to take it and they're tougher. So definitely more game for it.
And overall, how do you think, how big do you think your potential as the MMA fighter is?
I think sky's the limit, man. I feel really good. I feel like I'm learning stuff every single day, and I'm still young. I'm 25 years old, so I'm still relatively new to MMA. So I started my career February of 2024 or 2020. No, 2020. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think it's been within a year and a half, and I think each day I'm getting better and better, and the opportunities are kind of presenting themselves. And with each fight, I'm learning more about myself. So the more I get to compete, the more I get to train in these training camps I'm putting in, are I'm seeing that limit gets pushed back farther and farther.
And actually, the thing that you started like MMA, let's say 18 months ago or something around this,
Yeah,
it can be a good thing because sometimes there is a like 25 years fighter who is 25 years old, and he's quite young. But if he can like, if he have like has like 10 years of experience, he's a little bit beaten up. He is of course
yeah,
experienced, but as the like healthy thing,
yeah,
it can be tough for him. And you are quite fresh in the sport, and of course you have a like combat sport background. So
yeah,
it actually, I think that is a big advantage for you.
yeah. I agree. I think like physically healthy and then mentally as well. A lot of guys, if they have that much experience at such a young age, they might be burnt out or they might not be, mentally drained from the sport. So I'm still in love with it. And I'm still every single day looking to learn something new or willing to do something. So if that's waking up early before I have to go to work to run or hit the bag or stuff like that, that's that. And then making sure I get to practice at the end of the day. So days off, I'm able to hit my 2 MMA sessions a day. Like today, I had pads with my coach, and then I'm about to go in with these guys at Bricks, and we're gonna work our striking drills and get some light sparring in and flow. And I think we have a bunch of those good prospects like all from the Chicagoland area, and then we got I think a UFC guy coming in, so it'll be good to kind of go with both guys. You get the guy with more experience, and you get some top prospects that are younger, and you kind of flow and just move around, learn some new stuff, and just work on stuff together. So
And right now, with your kind of combat sport experience, do you feel any like stress before your fights?
yeah, there's always I think nerves are good, right? It keeps me sharp and keeps me on my toes. If I wasn't nervous at all, I'd be a little worried, but there's definitely nerves. You're about to get locked in the cage and you're about to scrap. So I think it's healthy. I've always had nerves. Like even with wrestling, you always feel those nerves, right? Those butterflies, but nothing crazy. I'm used to it. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old, just me and another person. So it's yeah, it's nothing new.
And before the fight,
And welcome. And, it's one of those things you learn to welcome.
the fight, do you like to listen to music or podcasts, or you prefer to do something else?
Yeah, I don't really listen to music too much. I kind of like to like hear the crowd like from the locker room, just so it kind of acclimates you to the setting, right? So it's like not like you're in this little zone and you take them out, and it's like deer in the headlights. I like to be acclimated to the area and kind of get relaxed and within my like be in my own thoughts. not looking for distraction. I don't need to distract myself from anything. It's more just, being me.
And outside of the combat sports, do you have any like additional hobby or passion?
Yeah, I like yeah, I mean, I like to hunt. I like to hike. I like the outdoors. It's kind of tough living in the city because there's not that much opportunity. But I like going down by the lake. I'm a big yeah, big fan of going and finding new stuff to do all the time. So just finding new, kind of living life by the seat of my pants. So finding whatever's fun.
And when you are in the training camp, do you have a like
Mhm.
the daily routine? So that you know when you have to wake up, when you have a like different parts of the training. Do you have a like this daily routine that you know that this will happen in Monday, like Tuesday, etc.?
Yeah, yeah. So like how my work schedule is, it's like one week I work a few days, and then the next week I work, a certain amount of days. So it's like it alternates those 2 week, like in a 2 week period. So I have it all written out for Monday of the if I work, Tuesday if I work, then Wednesday I'm off, Thursday I'm off. So I kind of those 2 week periods are planned out, and I just follow that the whole time. So I have it written down on my phone, and then my coaches have that, and so they know where I'll be. Just because I'll be bouncing around a little bit, but I'm at Midwest Training Center is my home, and then the days I can't make it up there because I'm working down on the south side. I work out over here at my dad's gym, so or at boxing in the city.
Okay, John. So many thanks for the conversation. I
Yeah.
think that the fight against Holloway actually will be one of the most interesting fights on the amateur scene this year because there are two very good undefeated prospects,
Mhm.
and I hope that next year you will make your pro debut also on APFC.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. Looking forward to hearing that.